Hey PC gamers, welcome back to the PC Gamer Chat Log. I am Lauren Morton.
And hey everyone, I'm Mollie Taylor.
This week, Molly and I are talking about our gaming bucket lists. We sat down and put together some things that we want to achieve before we can achieve no more. Yes. Big games that we finally want to get to playing, achievements, like actual, in-game achievements that we want to check off, series we want to start or finish, all sorts of stuff like that. It's, a more concentrated look at the backlog because, everybody always wants to complete their backlog, but we're being realistic here. We're being serious. We're not saying I just want to finish every game that I own or clear my backlog because nobody's ever going to do that before they kick the bucket. It's no longer possible. We're gonna actually talk about some very specific things instead. But before we do that, Molly, what did you play last week?
Yeah, so I fell victim. I say fell victim.
To your own choices, or
I fell victim to my own choices. I played an absolute butt ton of web fishing last week.
Okay, yeah.
Which is it's like the $5 social fishing game where you can be like a cat or a dog. It's like very low poly, very basic. I say all you do is fish. You can also buy scratch cards, you can do metal detecting. There's little bits, but it's really cool. It's really serene. I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. And when you type, you make the kind of Animal Crossing-esque
so I'm gonna say, is it like
noises.
Animal Crossing light, basically?
Yeah, it's very Animal Crossing-y with social elements as well. So you can have up to 20 people in a room. And yeah, you could buy props as well. So you could buy a picnic blanket and you could just put that down anywhere. So you can just kind of walk up to a little spot near the pond or near the beach, set down your little picnic blanket, set down like a crate of beer, and then you can sit down as well. You could press G to meow.
Of course.
It's really cute. And even though the gameplay loop is very basic, I ended up spending a lot of my spare time last week playing that game. I also started playing a little bit of Thank Goodness You're Here, which is the slapping, the very British slapping game where you just run around. You only have a button to slap and a button to jump, I think. I don't fully remember. And yeah, it's a button to slap, a button to jump. That's all you can do. And if you need to talk to people, you slap them. If you need to get anything, you slap it. It is painfully British in the best possible way. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Very kind of low key, just simple
a vibe
games.
Break from the 120 hours of Metaphor Fantasio.
Yes, and also Life is Strange Double Exposure.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, which I played and thought was just okay.
Yeah. I spent last week playing more Dragon Age the Veilguard, just like the week before. Nice. Of course, my review went up last week and you will have been able to read that. I talked on the podcast last week about some of my thoughts that were going to be in that review. So people have potentially heard that already and I won't repeat a bunch of them. I now have clocked over 100 hours after going back and playing through a whole second romance and doing a whole different run of the ending so that I can give people tips on that part. And yeah, I'm gonna be tired of Dragon Age the Veilguard after this next week. I'm gonna try and play something different. I think that's gonna be the goal. Playing a game for review and for writing guides and for having opinions on it is exhausting.
It's very tiring.
A game that size and that so many people have as many feelings about as I have in particular. So that's another thing you'll see on the website or have seen on the website this week is more thoughts and opinions of mine outside of just the review and guides. Those are things you'll be able to read as well on pcgamer.com. But aside from those more timely things, I guess we'll talk about the most timeliest thing of all is what to do, what's on our bucket list. Okay, Molly, this week you and I are talking about our gaming bucket lists. We talk about we do little show and tell things kind of in this zone every once in a while. We've talked about resolutions before and our white whale games and things like that. But this is specifically things that we actually do want to do, the bucket list. stuff to do before you kick the bucket, which, hopefully we've got plenty of time to
That's what
achieve
that
these
means?
lists. What? Yes, Mollie, what? You didn't know that? Yeah, it's the things you want to do before you die.
I didn't know. Well, okay, I knew that bucket list was like before you die. I didn't realize it was like, the bucket came from like kick the bucket. Fuck, man. Okay,
I think so. I don't think there's a different. Yeah, it's before you kick the bucket. I'm so glad you learned something new today.
Yeah, in like the first like minute of
that was so fast.
That was so fast. Anyway, sorry, I'm derailing things.
It's okay.
Already.
So we're going to be talking about, gaming things we want to do before we kick the bucket, which, hopefully we've got a while. And we're starting with an easy one, is just like any one game. Like, what is that one game that you actually want to get to? Just one, not the whole backlist. Just one.
I can't pick my entire backlog.
No, you can't pick the whole backlog because you aren't going to achieve that before you kick the bucket. That's not going to happen.
You don't know that.
I know that.
I might. I definitely didn't say that I was going to tackle my backlog this year, and I've not done that.
Not done that.
Okay, one game, because I have so many games. I have so many games that, like, the one game that I actually really want to play. Oh my god, because there's so many. There's so many. There's like an entire gang of like Atlas games that I still haven't played. There's like all of like the Halo games that I still haven't played. I think if I was to play anything, maybe Fable Anniversary, which feels like a weird pick because it's not exactly a game that I've been like that I keep saying, I'm going to play that, and then I never do. But it's one of the games that like I do want to play. I do want to play deep down.
You've talked about the Fable games. Have you never played the first one? Is that the
I've
thing?
never played the first one. I love Fable 2. I love Fable 3. Fable Anniversary is like the first game and the lost chapters, I think, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I would love to play Fable Anniversary. I want to see where it all started, I want to see how things kicked off, and I love Fable, and I always want more Fable. God, I hope Fable 4 is good. I always want more Fable. So like maybe Fable Anniversary, I feel. I can't
we still
think
don't
of anything
have a
better
release date for Fable 4, right? So you could very soon have like motivation to go back and play the first Fable game.
It would be nice. It's been in my Steam library for a hot sec. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I did play the original Fable like as a teenager, and like I've slept since then. I forgot almost everything about it. Truly, like I remember what songs I was listening to in my freaking iTunes profile while I played it. But I don't remember that game at all, unfortunately.
Damn.
The game that I want to play, and I think I did mention this when we talked about like our White Whale games, like will you ever get to it? And I said Morrowind. And as I was thinking about my bucket list, I was like, that's just one game. You've played Skyrim, you've played Oblivion, you could play Morrowind. And I this came up in a conversation with an acquaintance recently who told me that like she has these very fond memories of playing Morrowind like as a kid in her teenage brother's bedroom or whatever, like on his gaming console, and just like loving it. And I was like, oh wow, I wasn't playing Morrowind. We're about the same age as a kid. I just kind of like missed that. I think I was too busy on PlayStation and Nintendo at the time. But people talk so much about Morrowind and like what a cool area of the world of Tamriel, the Elder Scrolls world that is. And it's been replicated in the Elder Scrolls Online, which I've played. So I've seen like an interpretation of it, but I wouldn't say playing like the Greymoor expansion for the Elder Scrolls Online is anything like playing Skyrim, obviously. So I do want to go back and experience the like people talk about I think there are spears as weapons in Morrowind, and like they've never done that again. They've never had like two-handed spear weapons in an Elder Scrolls game, and I just want to see like the weird jank of it all. Because when I went back and played Oblivion, not only did I really like the stupid combat, or not combat, stupid conversation system. It's so silly. It's so stupid. I love it though. Like I enjoy the weirdo little pie pieces mini game of like insulting, complimenting, and like questioning or whatever people in every conversation. So I want to see what parts of Morrowind make me feel that same way. Like, oh, this is so dated and silly, and I love it. That's what I want to find and experience in Morrowind, I think. What game do you actually want to like beat? Which I consider different than like, what game do you actually want to play? Hopefully I'll finish Morrowind, but like, beat it, get to the end, accomplish it. Like, you know, I just feel like that's such a different sensation, and we don't talk about games that way anymore. We don't talk about beating games the way we used to. What happened to beating games?
Beating games. Back in my day, we would beat a game before we moved on to the next one.
That's true, we did. Because we only had 3 channels and 3 video games to play.
Yeah, 3. You guys had 3 channels? Damn, you were rich. No. I would, okay, I'm a bit of a fraud. I would love to beat Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mollie, you've never beat Kingdom Hearts 3?
I've never beat Kingdom Hearts 3, which is kind of bad because I feel like I'm like, on the team anyway, I'm like the Kingdom Hearts sicko. I am the one that like loves the games, vouches for all their like weird, stupid, like nonsensical narrative. Like, I love the series. I did not get on very well with Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know what it was. I don't know if like I just played it at a weird time in my life. I don't know if like something was like missing for me when I was playing it the first time. And then I remember I probably told this story on this podcast before. Listen, we've been doing this for like nearly 2 years now. I'm gonna be rehashing some stories, okay? I was at university when the game came out, and so I was playing, and I played on PlayStation 4, obviously. So I would like just put the system into rest mode whenever I didn't want to play anymore, and I would like walk off. And then I think at the time I was using like my housemate's controller because I think my controller was broken. So I was using my housemate's controller. My housemate went into my room to get my controller, but instead of like disconnecting the controller, she just like shut down the PS4. And I lost, I think it was only like 25 minutes of playtime. It was like so negligible.
That's nothing.
The amount of, yeah, it was like so negligible, the amount of playtime that I actually lost. But as soon as I found out that it had happened, I just went, okay. And then I just never played it again.
It just broke your whole groove.
Yeah, like genuinely the thought of just having, I really hate having to like, even like 5 minutes of a game that I've like just played. I hate having to go back and do it again. So that happened, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't know why you shut down my entire PS4. Bitch did it on purpose. I swear, no, I'm joking. I was like, I don't know why you'd like shut down the entire PS4. Like, you know how a PS4 works, girl, but like go off anyway. Anyway, I'm not here to like beef with like some housemate.
Bringing back like, old beefs.
Beef with my housemate that I had like 7 years ago. Very rancid beef. Yeah, that just killed like all of my desire, and I feel a little bit fraudy for having like not beat it, like not finished it. You know, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, like I got like 97% completion on Kingdom Hearts 2 as a kid. I beat Sephiroth, okay? That was a big deal for me as a kid, was beating Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I played the shit out of those games. I've played a lot of the side games as well. Like, I am like almost finished with a Birth by Sleep playthrough. That's another instance of me losing playtime because I let my Steam Deck die, and I don't remember the last time I saved, and I was like, well, I'm not going to play that again, probably.
This is a problem for you, Mollie.
This is a problem with me, but I would love to go back and beat it. You know, it's a game that I waited a very long time for, and I think it would just be a shame if, like, a game from a series that kind of molded my childhood.
It's your whole thing. Yeah,
it's such a me thing. So the fact that I haven't finished it does make me feel like a bit of like a fraud, like a freak.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, I think it's Elden Ring, because oh my gosh, Elden Ring is huge. I never beat it. I got to like Liurnia of the Lakes. Like I got to the like second, third area. I don't remember how far that is. And then we got busy with other things. Other stuff happened that year, and I just didn't have every night to pour into Elden Ring because, as we know, this job requires that you spend your evenings playing the games that you need to be talking about. Like, you know, we don't play games for 8 hours a day. So I think just other stuff came up probably. I know, right? If only I could play Elden Ring all day, every day. That would be lovely. So yeah, I think my time just got spent elsewhere, and I moved on from Elden Ring, and I regret that so much because I was having so much fun with Elden Ring. I mean, I don't know if I can call myself a Souls girly. That might be a little strong, but like I have played my fair share of Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
Like I never beat Dark Souls 1 when I went back and played Scholar of the First Sin. But I have beat Dark Souls 2 and 3 and Bloodborne. And I've not really given Elden Ring enough of my time. And so I didn't touch the DLC at all when it came out. I left that to other people on the team. And it's just so beautiful. It's so cool. I was shocked that like the open world version of a FromSoft game worked. Like we were all shocked by that. When we found out that Elden Ring was going to be open world, we were like, but the whole point of Souls games is that they're these like, you know, tightly designed environments with like, you know, the secret shortcuts and with like weird stuff hiding in rooms. And like that is part of the core of a Souls game. How is Elden Ring going to do that? And it does. I think probably it does some of those moments most successfully in the parts where you do like wind up in a structure instead of like out wandering around the world with your horse. But like something about it still just has that feeling, even when you're like, oh, what's up there? Who's that lightning guy on top of that cliff in the very first area of the game that I may or may not have ever like gone to? Because I was like, that guy looks scary, but you like go and explore and you find out what's up there. And yeah, so I really want to go back to Elden Ring, give it more of my time. Some of our coworkers have put like a wild amount of time into Elden Ring. Like, I know for sure Sarah James has done like a lot of playthroughs of Elden Ring. And Tyler Kolb might be the same. There's like others.
Some real sickos.
Some real sickos. Some real soul sickos on this team. And I feel sad that I've let Elden Ring get by me. So I would like to beat it, get to the end, see all the stuff, get not all the secrets. All the secrets is like a lot in a Souls game, but I want to get close. What about, speaking of beating things, crossing them off, what about an achievement? Do you have an achievement for your bucket list?
I do. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I have said on this podcast before that I used to be a massive trophy hunter. I loved trophy hunting back when I was a console gamer. I always talk about it like console gaming, like I've like quit console gaming or something. It's just I used to primarily console game, right? It was much more convenient for me, especially as someone who used to cart between like multiple houses a week, being a child of divorce. As I love to say, as a child of divorce, being a console gamer was just easier. Okay, you cannot carry a rig between two different cities. I can carry a PlayStation between.
We didn't have Steam decks.
We didn't have Steam Decks. We didn't have none of that. I would literally pack, back when I used to like work in retail and then I would visit my boyfriend on the weekends, I would literally pack my PS4 into like my weekend bag and I would like take my PS4 to his house so I could like play games. He would give me one of his monitors because he was a PC gamer. He would give me one of his monitors and then we would just like sit side by side. Playing games all weekend. It was fantastic. So genuinely fantastic.
Children of divorce of today have it so good. Get you that Steam Deck, kids. You can put it in a case, take it anywhere you want.
Right? A Nintendo Switch, a Steam Deck. Like, oh my God, I wish I was a child of divorce in like the mid 2010s rather than like 2002 or whatever it was. Like, but yes. So anyway, I was a big console gamer.
Yep.
For a very long time. And I loved trophy hunting. Trophy hunting was super fun. These days on PC, I don't get that same like serotonin, that same like little dopamine boost that I used to get. There's something about like a PlayStation trophy popping that just it feels so good when you get like a gold trophy or like the platinum trophy for getting all the other trophies. Or even like Xbox achievements, they're nice because you know they have like numbers attached to them. I don't care about percentages. I don't care if like 5% of players have this achievement. No, I want to be told you got a gold achievement, you got a 50G achievement. Like, damn, that's a good achievement you got there. Anyway, I'm so sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Mollie, we did a podcast about this already. We already talked about achievements.
We did. I'm so sorry. My point is, I don't care much these days for achievements in like on Steam. However, Final Fantasy 14 within the game,
MMO achievements hit different.
MMO achievements. Like in Final Fantasy 14 as well. Some of them take like a minimum of 7 years because of the way they're like time gated. Yeah, those ones I have no desire, absolutely no desire to ever put that level of dedication into a video game. I'm sorry, like no. But there were like a couple of achievements in that game that I think I would feel very like satisfied with myself if I got them. There's achievements for like the relic weapons in the game that come with each expansion, and you know it's a little bit of a grind, and there are increasingly like a lot of weapons, and you know it's a little bit time gated depending on like the stuff that you need, but I feel like that one would be cool. And then there's one as well for doing 2,000 mentor roulettes, which like you get 1,500 commendations. So you know you can commend people at the end of like a dungeon. Okay, you get 1,500 commendations, and you have like a tank, a healer, and a DPS max level. You become a battle mentor. You get a little crown next to your name, and you can do mentor roulette, which basically puts you into like almost any duty in the game. Almost any. So like it could be just a normal dungeon, it could be like a normal trial, it could be an extreme trial, you know, it could be traditionally what you would do for like older extremes like 50, 60, 70, maybe even 80 these days extremes, you would just unsync that bitch, right? You would unsync the level, you would jump in either by yourself or with some friends depending on like what level it is. If you're on a free trial, you cannot use Party Finder, which is what some people use to do these things unsynced. You cannot use Party Finder. So what a lot of people on the free trial will do, or what people who like don't really understand how the game works yet will do, they will queue into these duties like just like you would do anything else, which you're not supposed to do. That's generally not the vibe of these things. So with mentor roulette, you can get put into one of these, which is like level synced, kind of difficult, you know, and you've got potentially a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing because they don't understand the difficulty of it. And I really like the idea behind that, of being able to just like do this roulette, you can't do it with friends. You have to do the roulette by yourself. You can't even do it like with other mentors in a group. You might get grouped out with other mentors, but you can't do it with other mentors, like specifically. And 2,000 is so many.
That's a
2,000 is so freaking many. But I feel like it's going to be a really, really good way to just become like not better at the game, but just become more familiar with how everything in the game works, right? I've done so many of these things, like not like unsynced at this point, that if you threw me into like a level synced version of it, I don't know if I know what to do. But I just got my crown. I just got my Burger King crown.
Okay.
And I really want to start helping people. Like I think that will be like a really fun way to keep me engaged with the game, because you know, I'm kind of like flagging off it a little bit at the moment.
Something new all the time.
Yeah, something new all the time. I could get those 2,000 just off doing dungeons and like normal story difficulty stuff. Or I could end up spending 2 hours in like a level 50 extreme that with 7 sprouts who don't understand how to do any mechanics. And I look forward to the challenge. And that's an achievement. I think if I do that, that'll be like a big one for me, I think.
Nice. That's reminding me, just as you're talking about MMO achievements, of I talk about the original Guild Wars sometimes, and the achievements in that like were so for real. Like they were not messing around. Like you had to like do so much PvP, get so many like faction points. Like there were achievements that I loved doing because the explorable zones in the original Guild Wars were instanced. It's like not quite an MMO, right? It's closer to like Path of Exile. And so there were achievements for completely clearing an explorable zone of enemies, and you would do it on, you know, I don't remember if there were actually achievements for doing it on normal difficulty, but once you beat the campaign and you could turn on the harder difficulty, you would do clears of a zone on that harder difficulty. And those were so fun. Those were so satisfying to my brain, just like hoovering, cleaning all the enemies. I would turn on music on a weekend as a teenager, and I would spend like hours like clearing zones. And I would work through the expansions. There's a meta achievement in Guild Wars 1 as well called God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals for having all of the other achievements. That was a very big deal. If you saw a Guam out in the wild, they were a legit person, obviously, for having all of the in-game achievements. That's not on my bucket list. I would never have and will never achieve that. What I do want to do is 100% Stardew Valley at some point, which I've never done. My partner has done this, actually, like just got so tunnel vision into Stardew Valley at one point that he 100%ed everything. I think he did finally complete that like arcade game in the bar. I think that was the last one that he had.
No, not Root Beer Tapper. That's the real video game.
The minecart thing, whatever it's called. That one. Or I don't remember if that was the last one he had, or if it was the dual stick shooter one. They both suck. They're both very hard. So I may or may not actually like 100% Stardew because of those mini games that I don't enjoy doing. But there's like a full shipment achievement, which is for shipping one of every item in the game at least once. Yeah. Which, you know, that seems very completionist to me. Between like that and completing the museum collection, which I've never done either. Like I've done the community center, obviously, but I've never completed the museum. Like all the artifacts and stuff. So I would like to get that full shipment achievement in Stardew. I've played so much Stardew in my time, but I do so much restarting. Like I started a new farm to play like the update that came out with the new island area, whatever year that was. And I started a new farm to do the Stardew Valley expanded mod. And I started a new farm to do like co-op with somebody. So I've played the first like 2 years so many times. And have I ever like gotten married and had kids in Stardew Valley? Like, have I ever actually gotten that far? Like I've gotten married. I don't think I've ever like had kids though in Stardew. I don't remember what year that actually happens in, or if it just is dependent on your house upgrades. Either way, I think I've only maybe had one baby in Stardew. That seems so like put more into one save file. Yeah. So At some point, I want to do more with Stardew, even though I've played so much already, like 400 hours. I could play more. I could play 400 more, basically. Yeah. What about so we've talked about individual games. What about an entire series that you want to finish?
I want to finish. I think I stole your answer.
It's
I
fine.
did steal your answer. I stole your answer. I want to finish the Yakuza series. I did start the Yakuza series. Okay, I started with Yakuza 0. Loved it. Again, it's that situation where, you pick it up, you put it down one day, and you never come back to it. Yeah, and I have the game on my Steam Deck right now, and I keep telling myself, like, I'm gonna play it again. Like, I'm gonna start it up again, and I'm gonna dive in, and then like another game comes up that I end up playing instead. It's the fear over, because like the Yakuza games up until recently are not that long. Like up until what, Like a Dragon? Or the one, is that the one? Yeah, up until Like a Dragon, those games are not super duper long, right? Like 40, 50 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like max. But I don't know what it is. It's like the thought of doing that is like really scary. Like the thought of spending that much time in a video game is like very, very scary. Yeah, it's a long, and exactly right. It's not just 40 to 50 hours in one game. It's 40 to 50 hours.
There are 9 mainline games, Mollie. This isn't even talking about Ishin, which also came out, and the pirate game that's coming up, Majima pirate game.
Yeah. And obviously, Like a Dragon is significantly longer.
Big old turn-based RPG.
and the sequel to that one is also
it's long.
Yeah. And it scares me. It's so scary. That's very intimidating. But I know that those games are so me coded.
Yes.
They're so Mollie coded. And I need to stop being a baby. That's my problem. I need to stop being a baby. I need to ignore other video games for a little bit, and I need to play it.
I want to have the experience of you screenshotting quests in the Yakuza game and just sending them to me. I really want that in my life. I've never gotten it from that side. I just need to see you meeting the guy who's naked and covered in bubbles and wondering what's going on with that. I think that might have been Like a Dragon thing. I'm trying to remember which game that was even in. But
so many weird things that happen in those games.
So many stupid things in those games that are just so fun. And then also like super dramatic and emotional, obviously. And that when I've like got into the Yakuza series, my favorite thing was just getting to start a new one, like the experience of still having Yakuza games yet to play, which like I still have actually. But anytime you start a new one, like I think when I finally started Yakuza 5, I was just like grinning like an idiot alone here in my office playing this game because I was like, look at this dang guy. Look at freaking Kiryu Kazuma, who I know so well, just doing the shit he does, like driving a taxi. What are you doing here? Why are you up to this? And it just it makes me so happy just jumping into something that like feels so familiar.
Very cozy, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a cozy game in any way, but I feel so comforted by just playing more Yakuza. Yeah, that would have been my answer too, because I also, I've played 0, 1, 2, 3. I've played parts of 3, and I haven't played 4 or 6, and I've started 5, and then I picked up with like the new ones as well. So like there's a chunk there in the middle before they got remastered, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes.
That I was waiting to play, and then I got caught up with other things. I didn't actually play them. I basically just like watched them like Let's Plays on YouTube so that I could have the stories before I went into other things. But I really need to go back for them. I did jump into, I think it's, which one is the one where he drives a taxi? Is it 4 or 5? I started one of them. I'm getting them mixed up in this moment, and I also haven't played like the spin-off things like Ishin or Like Dead Souls. I don't even know if there's a way to play Yakuza Dead Souls, the like weird zombie shooter one. Yeah, that might be like, I don't know if that's been ported or localized. I think you can like only watch that on YouTube. I don't remember, but I would like to finish the Yakuza series. But since you took that answer, my other answer is the Tales of series. Like, you know, Tales of Arise, Tales of the Abyss, Tales of Symphonia for people. There are so many. But I really enjoy specifically the combat in that series. They have the linear movement battle system, LMBS, I believe that's what it's called, where you're like in the games that were out while I was a kid, it was Symphonia, and you have that like circular battle area, and how it works is like you don't get full 3D movement. You like run directly at a target, and then you can like change your like angle, and then you keep running directly at. So it's weird. It's really weird, but it's really enjoyable. I have a lot of fun with it. I think they've opened it up in more recent games. Like I played Tales of Arise, and I think it's way more like freeform take on LMBS, but it is still a lot of fun. They're goofy plots, goofy characters, and by goofy I mean cheesy. They're like, you know,
Yes.
they're your stock JRPG stuff, you know, secret twins, lost fathers, moody mentor who is secretly your father. Spoilers for Tales of Symphonia, which is very old. And yeah, I never beat Symphonia as a kid. I got stuck on part of it, like on the GameCube, and never finished it. But I've beat like Arise on my DS, or no, not, Abyss, excuse me, Tales of the Abyss on my DS, and then I started another one, and then I did Arise. So like, I really want to go back and like pick up other parts of that series and actually finish them. Berseria, I think, is supposed to be really popular as well.
Yeah.
And I've never touched that one, but people speak highly of it. So I'd like to sweep up the rest of the Tales of series, you know, with all my free time. So, you know, after I finish Elden Ring, you know, and then there's just like a hole in my life, I could, you know, just finish all the Tales of games. You wanted to talk about multiplayer games as well.
Yeah. Like games that, like, you know, I don't know if you've done it. I've done it where I'm like, oh, this online game looks cool. I should definitely play it. And then the game closes down and the servers go offline.
That's never actually happened to me, I don't think.
Has that ever happened to you? Oh my God, it's happened to me. I'm like, this game looks cool. And then I don't play it. And then the servers go, and I'm like, oh,
you missed
whoopsie.
it.
Yeah, I know Wes said on a previous episode that it happened to him with Knockout City, right? And
oh yeah, that dodgeball thing, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely happened to me in the past as well. So, okay, the thing that I originally had in mind was Dead by Daylight, because it's one of those games, I don't do horror, but it's one of those games that I feel like I would have fun with. But actually, okay, this game is never gonna, these games are never gonna die. I would love to try Fortnite or Valorant before they go. Valorant especially, actually. So I've played Fortnite Festival, but I've not really played Fortnite. I only got like halfway through the tutorial in Valorant, and then I never touched it. And I feel like now I'm at a point with Valorant where it's very, very scary as like a concept to
and at this point I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, right. It's like everyone who's anyone like my age playing video games, almost everyone I know plays Valorant. Like, so many people I know in like their like early, mid, late 20s are playing Valorant. Like my Final Fantasy friends, if they're not playing Final Fantasy, they're probably playing Valorant. Like it's just one of those games that for me feels like it's come out of like nowhere. Like, I don't know. And I like, because it's not really quite a hero shooter. It's like kind of a hero shooter, but it's like a hero shooter meets like CS:GO, right?
Yeah.
It's like a tactical shooter, which is also like a really intimidating genre to me.
Yeah.
You know, I've played a little bit of Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, which a very scary game to like try and play when you haven't really played it before. And I feel the same way about Valorant. Like, I want to be a Valorant girly so freaking bad. I want to be a Valorant girly. I want to know.
Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
You haven't picked?
I know there's someone called Sage, I'm pretty sure. Sorry if that's not true. It's one of those games I would love to be a Valorant girl. I want to be the hot girls who play Valorant. Like, I want that for me, and it's not happening for me because I'm too scared that I'm gonna start playing and I'm immediately gonna get like flamed for fucking not knowing what I'm doing. So maybe one day I'll like, because I like poke my Valorant friends a bit sometimes. I'm like, I'd love to get into the game, and they're like, yeah, you should. And I'm like, okay, but
I need help.
And they're like,
I need moral support.
And they're like, good luck with that. And I'm like, I get you don't want to carry like some dog shit player, but
call me once you have already gotten into it. I won't be holding your hand.
We'll play when you know what you're doing, girl. And I'm like, please show me what to do. Yeah, that is an online game that I think I would really like to play. Not that game is gonna like die anytime soon. Yeah, like it's definitely not. But in a hypothetical world where that game would be going away very soon, that is one that I would like to play before it does.
Nice. Mine, I need to make sure
you fact checking yourself right now.
Yeah, like I believe you can still play. Yeah, it has recent Reddit posts. Of course it does.
Nice.
Lord of the Rings Online. I really I made an account. I mean, it's been years ago, probably like 7 years ago, and it was old then. And played like just the beginnings of it, but I would love to play Lord of the Rings Online. Like that's it. It comes from, that era of MMOs. Obviously, I have nostalgia for the original Guild Wars. I never touched World of Warcraft, but like I love things from that era. Just crunchy, annoying, MMOs, ugly. And it's also, I like the appearance of Lord of the Rings Online as well. Just like the style of it, because I was a little, as a teenager playing Guild Wars, which was like not really an MMO. It was like not a whole real MMO. It just like kind of was. And everybody else played World of Warcraft. I was like, not like other girls. I don't play World of Warcraft because it looks cartoony. I play the more interesting, cooler, prettier Guild Wars. And Lord of the Rings Online does have that similar, like more realistic art style, which ages worse. Yes, it does, but I still love it. I love that shit. So I would really like to try getting into Lord of the Rings Online and just seeing what's up there. I seem to remember that like the job system might be kind of cool in Lord of the Rings Online. I'm just like talking completely off the cuff here. I have not done any research on this. You just asked the question and I was like, probably Lord of the Rings Online. I don't remember anything about it right now, but it would probably be cool to play it. So, but I remember hearing that like the job system versus like the class that you pick on whatever is pretty neat. And I would like to get into that and see what's going on. And the fact that like, it has apparently an active subreddit of 66,000 people.
Oh, wow.
And it's, Reddit is not always the best thing for the best place for all things, but I feel like for an old MMO, yeah, Reddit's where you should be looking for the community for that.
Decent.
if not an even older forum or something like that. So I'd like to get into that. That's my pick. Last thing, Molly, what is a game that we think should be on everybody's bucket list? Not ours, but everybody else's.
Yeah, your bucket list. You listening, watching right now.
Here's your homework.
Yeah, here's what you should be playing. So obviously there's so many games that I think people would put on like a bucket list, right? I think for me, the one game, and it's a game that I'm trying to get my boyfriend to play as well, but he still hasn't. I might like try and bully him into doing it soon. The game that I would probably put on a lot of people's bucket lists is BioShock.
The original?
The original, the OG BioShock. I think for me, like BioShock is one of the best examples of like atmospheric, like storytelling, like the way that game is like crafted to me is I don't normally play like shooters. I'm not really like a shooty girly at all, to be honest. It's like
she doesn't play Valorant.
I don't play Valorant, you know, like you can give me a game with a gun, I guess, and like I might enjoy it, but it's not my first choice. Neither is like stuff that leans horror or is like horror coded. Like again, I have played those games, but they really have to like speak to me. And I don't know, like BioShock's atmosphere, the whole like concept of it being like an underwater city and seeing all the different like splicers and the way that they've like mutilated themselves and the like the art deco like architecture and the music, like every single thing, like so many parts of that game, like I can still remember so much of it, which for me is like a miracle, like for how much of that game that I can actually recall. Like just the way that it does like so much of its world building like really early on. And you know, like there's the gunplay is like way better in the other two games. You can't even like dual wield like a gun and a plasmid. You gotta switch between the two, right? But there's just, I don't know, there's just so much about that game to love. And yeah, I just think it's like it's just such a cool little fucking game. It's such a cool game. Yeah, just great vibes, great storytelling. One of the best plot twists in any video game as well, if you ask me. Fantastic, incredible plot twists. So yeah, BioShock. You should play that. Nice. I know a lot of people have, but there's still some of you sickos out there who haven't played it. My boyfriend being one of them.
I also haven't ever played a single BioShock, so I'll put it on my bucket list. I was trying to pick between a couple things. I think the really easy answer to reach for would be to say Disco Elysium, because it's been on our like top 100. We like rated it very highly. It's been on the PC Gamer top 100 PC games for like, it was number one for 3 years, something like that. It was a lot of years, and it's a great game. Like there was a reason everybody was so into it. Like it was so it came at a moment when it felt like people were like open to thinking about the messages that it had and were ready to like dig in and read all that dialogue. And it just like, it's not like a deeply simulated kind of mystery like I was just talking about with like Shadows of Doubt, but it's this deeply authored mystery that's just great to uncover. It's this, you know, crunchy RPG type thing, right? And it makes me think of I'm going to make another book reference here, but the fifth season by N.K. Jemisin from the Broken Earth trilogy just recently made it onto like maybe the New York Times made a list of like the 100 best fantasy books of this century so far, or something like that. Fantasy in general, like fantasy and sci-fi, highly underrepresented on that list, unfortunately. But this book was on there. It's this weird science fantasy blend type thing that's been like really popular for good reason. I adore it. And some people bounce off of it because they're like, it feels like pretentious. Like part of it's written in second person, but like get over it. It's really good. And I feel like Disco Elysium has that same quality of like, you can get into it initially and be like, whoa, calm down, and be like, this thinks it's really smart. And like, look, but I think both of those things I think are as smart as they believe themselves to be. You should just get on board and have a good time, in my opinion. Disco Elysium's fantastic. The equally easy to reach for answer is The Witcher 3. I also think that's a bucket list game. Another just like really like well written, wonderful, and also whoops, I'm tying it to books again because I'm reading the Witcher books for the first time right now. And I'm loving having that experience after playing the games because some parts of those books are weirdly paced. The structure of the plot and the story can be a little odd sometimes, but because I already like have played the games, watched the TV show, like I know this lore and I know these characters, I'm just like, it's fine. I'm along for the ride. Like I'm not confused. This is actually helping. And it's just making me think about The Witcher 3 so much and loving the characters, loving the stories, and like the ways in which CDPR, I think, kind of did justice to the source material with like their characterization of Geralt as this kind of quippy, kind of snarky guy who he's a little bit of a banter kind of guy. And I think that comes across in The Witcher 3. There are some really great, silly moments that I think do justice to those books. So that's 2 picks from me for bucket list games for other people.
That's okay.
But
3 games for your bucket list.
Exactly. Did we miss anything? I don't think so. That's it. That's a lot of homework for you, me, and everyone else.
That's fine. I'll get that done. Totally.
I'm going to start with Elden Ring. At some point, I'm going to put everything else down and I'm just going to start playing Elden Ring.
I am going to do probably Yakuza 0.
Yes.
And maybe chipping away at my mentor roulettes now that I have my Burger King crown. Chip away those mentor roulettes. Why not? Make a
Good
start.
Call.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, as usual, thank you, Molly, for having a little yap with me.
Thank you.
And you can find Molly and I writing about the games that we have played. I think we talked about some things that we have played at the website at pcgamer.com. All of our usual news, reviews, guides, opinions, everything you need is there. And also, as usual, you will be able to talk with Molly and I about this week's episode at forums.pcgamer.com. Thanks, Molly.
Bye.
Bye.